What's up, guys? It's Tyler from The Line Change coming to you with another video. Today's topic, we're going to be going over potential UFA targets this upcoming offseason. Yeah, we're just going to run through a bit of a list. I've listed the majority of UFA targets. For this video, though, in particular, we're going to focus on forwards. Obviously, we know the Canucks are in need of center. That's what they're looking for. So we're going to focus these UFAs on forwards / centers. They can play the wing, if needed. But for the most part, we're going to be looking at the upcoming UFAs who are centers. I've also picked out just a few who I believe the Canucks could be potentially interested in. I've also listed their cap hit, their age, their points so far this season. And yeah, so let's go through the list. Starting off, Mitch Marner is a pending UFA. Now, by no means am I saying are the Canucks even going to sniff or consider going after Mitch Marner. His cap hit is like $10 million, which is, keep in mind, in our previous video we mentioned, now the Canucks only have $10 million to spend this upcoming offseason, unless they ship out a player and free up some cap space. They're looking at between 10 and 12 million, roughly. They could increase that if they were to trade Susie or somebody and dump some cap. But Marner is, I think it's a safe bet. We can say Marner is out of the equation for this. Same can be said for Mikko Rantanen. I know, as much as I would love to have the likes of Mitch Marner, Mikko Rantanen as, Canucks, you also have to be realistic. They're going to be commanding a lot of money. And I just don't think, and obviously the Canucks don't have the money to get the caliber players, at least those two anyway. Our next one we have is Matt Duchene. Now, I have starred as I do believe the Canucks could be potentially interested, as keep in mind, Duchene is a center. His cap hit is $3 million. He is 34 years old, so he's a little up there in age. So it would most likely, you would think the Canucks would offer him a short-term deal, as, because of his age. And they also might be hesitant because of his age. So far this season, Matt Duchene has 22 goals, 33 assists, 55 points. Next on the list we have is Michael Granlund. Now, I've starred him as well, as he could be a potential target. His cap hit, though, is $5 million, so it's a bit more than Duchene. Granlund is also 2 years younger than Duchene. He's 32 years old. So far this season, he's got 15 goals, 35 assists, 49 points. So I would say he would be a good center. I made both of them. They fit the bill. They're both centers. I think Granlund would be a good 2C for sure. Maybe even 1C, but that's a bit of a stretch because obviously Petey has that spot. Next on the list is Nikolai Ehlers. He's not a center. He's a winger. So I didn't star him or really look into him. But, if the Canucks were looking for a winger, Ehlers is a very good player, and I would be interested in him. I didn't write down his cap hit, unfortunately, but because of him, us focusing on centers, I'm going to skip these others, as these were, again, ones that I didn't start or think Canucks could be interested in. But this one is Ryan Donato, who is a center with a cap hit of $2 million. So that is I would say, a pretty good cap hit there. He's only going to cost you two. That's what he's making right now. He's making $2 million. He might want to raise. But I don't think the raise would be astronomical. He's 28 years old. He's got 19 goals, 18 assists, good for 37 points so far this season. I really like Donato, and I like the idea of the Canucks targeting him. Now, keep in mind also with these UFAs and the fact that we're not even at the trade deadline yet, a lot of these UFAs could re-sign with their teams and be off the market by the time the offseason starts. So keep that in mind. Donato's a definitely a target, I would say. I really like him. He's 28 years old, so he is a little old, but not too old. And I believe in his last 5 games or so, he's been on fire. He's been hot. So I really like that idea. I think he would be a good 2C for sure. I do know we have Hedl right now as our 2C, but obviously the Canucks are still looking for a center. And if Donato does go to free agency, I personally, this is just my personal opinion, think he could be a target for the Canucks. Moving down, I have Sam Bennett, who has a cap hit of $4.425 million. I think I've starred him as well. I think he would be a good target for the Canucks as well. He's 28 years old. He's got 18 goals, 17 assists, 35 points so far this season. I do also think Bennett, there's probably a good chance Bennett re-signs with Florida. So he might be off the market by the time the free agency starts. But his name was on the list, so I thought I figured, he would be a good target. He as well could be a good UC. When I think of Sam Bennett, he reminds me of, believe it or not, JT Miller. He's got that JT Miller mentality to him. He's a tough guy. He doesn't put up with crap. He just feels like a potential JT Miller 2.0. Like, maybe not completely, but if you get what I'm saying, you can understand where I'm going with this. He reminds me a lot of JT Miller. Him being a center, he'd be a great 2C, I think. But his cap hit is a little high, and we also don't know what the Canucks are looking for when it comes to the cap. Obviously, only having between 10 and 12 million, and we also don't know what other moves they might be wanting to make. So there's that as well. Moving down the list. Now, this one I am all in on, and I really like this player, and I do think the Canucks should target him. Like, if I had to pick one from this list, it would be Jack Roslovic for the Carolina Hurricanes. His cap hit is $2.8 million. He's 28 years old. He's got 19 goals, 9 assists, 28 points. I really like the idea of Roslovic. He's a young, talented player. I do know there were talks about maybe Roslovic and the Canucks when the Canucks and the Hurricanes were having talks when it came to EP40 and potentially trading Elias to Carolina. I believe his name was brought up in those trade talks, along with Marty Necas, who ended up going to Colorado in the Rantanen trade. But I did remember hearing Roslovic's name. So that is when the gears started turning for me, and I started paying more attention to him. And actually, on that note, believe it or not, my second favorite hockey team is the Hurricanes. So I have a bit of a connection there with that, being a fan of the Hurricanes. And that's not random. I've just always liked the Hurricanes for some reason. I just really like that team. I think they're a very good team. Roslovic is a definite for me. I really like that idea. Go after him. Again, as I mentioned before, there's a chance he might re-sign with Carolina. He did sign a 1-year deal. So we don't know if he might want to test free agency or if he's happy in Carolina. But Roslovic is definitely, I would say, my number one pick and target that I believe the Canucks should go after. And yeah, there's, a lot more of a list here. You got guys like Patrick Kane, although he's, 36. So I don't know if the Canucks are interested in someone in their mid or early mid-30s. I don't think they're interested in that. They're looking for somebody young. You got Jake Evans from the Montreal Canadiens. You got Taylor Hall. Jonathan Drouin is probably another one, but he's more so a winger than a center. You got Adam Gaudette, former Canuck, Nick Dowd, Connor Brown, Justin Barrasso, Victor Olofsson, and then you got Gustav Nyquist. He kind of jumped out to me, but again, he's 35 years old, so again, I don't think the Canucks are looking for someone at that age. They're looking for someone in their late 20s, or I believe they said early to mid. I think that they mentioned. You got Andrew Mangiapane. You got Alex Iafallo. Yanni Gourde is another one that kind of stood out for me. I didn't star him, but I do think he could be maybe a wild card when it comes to Canucks target. Currently playing for the Seattle Kraken. I didn't actually write down what his cap hit is. Let me quickly look that up, actually. Yanni Gourde. Okay, so he's at a cap hit in 6-7 million. So again, that's a little steep. But he could be a potential target. But I'm really hanging on the Roslovic. If I had to have a second option, I might go with Ryan Donato. Ryan Donato and Roslovic are the two that stand out for me the most out of anyone. Just because I also think they kind of fit within this team. I think they fit, especially I can't talk enough about Roslovic, and how appealing that is to me. At least me personally. I don't speak for all the Canucks fans, but what do you guys think? Do you guys think Roslovic could be a good target? Do you think Sam Bennett? Do you think Ryan Donato? Do you guys think of anyone else on this list that I mentioned? Matt Duchene, Michael Granlund. Do you think they might end up re-signing Brock Besser? A little bit more information on Besser from what I've heard is that both sides are not close when it comes to a deal. They have different opinions on what they think the deal should be, whether that's term, money. They're basically at a standstill. They're on opposite sides. So there's a little update on that. Brock Besser contract talks. I do have Brock Nelson on here, but again, he's 34 years old. He fits into that realm of, mid, maybe 30s. But, I also believe the Islanders are looking to re-sign Nelson. So by the time free agency hits, he might be off the market. You've also got Evgeny Dadanov as well, possible target. But again, I just wrote down about a full list. And then afterwards, I kind of started only writing down centers. Obviously, we have Pius Suter is a pending UFA for the Canucks. I think there's a chance we could re-sign Suter. I'm going to go over that in a separate video. That's one of the topics that I have lined up. Possibly by the time this video is uploaded, I might have already done a video on whether or not we should re-sign Suter. Let me ask you guys the question now. Out of this list, who do you guys like that are potential UFAs? Do you guys like the idea of Donato? Do you guys like the idea of Duchene? Do you guys like the idea of Granlund? Do you guys like the idea of Roslovic, just like me? And then is there someone who I may not have listed who you think could be a potential target for the Canucks come free agency? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, please like this video, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.